Fear, and today I'm going to show you how I edit my cosplay photos. So I'm going to be honest, this is only 15 minutes after my last video. I changed my outfit, put on some earrings, and then now it's a different video. Just do the basics so you can see how I retouch my photos and make them all pristine. I will say I have been using Photoshop for maybe 10 years almost at this point. Been taking photos for a really long time. Self-portraits even before I started cosplaying, I did a lot of those. Through all of that experience, I've learned about over-editing. I like to keep my edits pretty minimal. I have a general rule where I don't edit anything that is permanent, so things like face shape, eye shape, body shape, things like that. I will, however, edit things that can change, like your hair. My face is very shiny, as you might be able to see. I lit it in a way where you can't see it too much, because otherwise it'll be blinding you. But I edit the shine of my face and sometimes weird shadows, so if you see, if I look down, there's like weird shadows here. Those are okay to edit because they're not like that all the time. Same with any like blemishes, pimples, discoloration, things like that. This is just how I like to edit my photos because of my beliefs of what is acceptable to be edited for me. There are a lot of cosplayers who do a lot of editing to the point where it's like a painting, and that looks beautiful. I love it too. It looks amazing. However, I also think that it does kind of give you an unrealistic expectation if you don't know it's edited. If you know, then it's like, wow, yes, I get it. It looks beautiful. But there are a lot of people that aren't aware that these things are edited, so I prefer not to do that myself. But that's no shade to people who do it. I love it. It looks amazing. Anyways, without further ado, I will show you how I edit my photos with some of the Crollo photos that I took recently. Luckily, those are just my real hair, so it was pretty easy for me. It was pretty much all of Closet Cosplay except the earrings were maybe $2 or $3 from AliExpress. But yeah, I'll show you how I did that. Hello, now I'm back on this side. I'm going to show you how I edit this Crollo photo. I've already edited one already, but here is another. So typically I would edit all the photos from the same set with the same camera raw settings initially, but I will not do that here so I can show you how I do it for all of them. So this is the Crollo photo I'm going to edit. First thing I do is, if it's not dark enough, I usually prefer my photos to be a little bit darker, but this one is already quite dark, so I'm not really going to touch the blacks. I'm instead going to actually bring up some of the shadows, just because, as you can see, my blazer is a bit hidden into the background, but if I bring it up a little bit, suddenly it's there. And this is only something that will work if you shoot on RAW. So as you can see, this is a RAW file. That means that it saves more information about the brightness and darkness of the photo, and you have a little bit more flexibility with saving those dark or light spots. So this one is quite dark, so I brought up the shadows a little bit. I think for the most part the lighting is pretty good though. Like, I think I don't need to change a whole bunch. Yeah, I think actually I'm going to bump it up slightly more, because I noticed that on my phone, the contrast is a bit sharper, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit more just to save it, to make sure that you can see the outline of my shoulders. And then I will go down to color grading, and then I usually do this, but I don't always, depending on the photo. So this one, I will usually adjust the mid-tones, the skin tone, to a little bit kind of like a pinky, reddish, orange color. This one might be a little bit too much, because the lighting just does affect this color of my skin. So if it's more, if the white balance is a little bit higher, then it'll become more orange. If it's lower, it'll become more blue. I'm saving it a little bit because I think I shot it a little bit too cool, like cool toned, a little bit too cool. And then sometimes with the highlights, I'll actually add a little bit of green, just because I feel like it's moody, or blue. Actually, the blue looks good. So this is cyan. I'm gonna make it a little bit less. And you can also toggle these off to see if it see the difference. So that's off. That's on. Okay, that's not a huge difference. Let me push up a bit. I mean, sometimes you don't really need a big difference. It's just nice to be able to see it. Turn off. Why is it turning off? Oh, I'm holding it. Okay, there you go. Now you can see the difference. Shadows, I'll add a little bit of red. I don't always do this. I kind of just like take this and kind of go all the way around the circle, but like very close to the middle, just to see how it looks, because different photos need different colors, and you don't always need any color. So for Crollo though, I want the mood to be a little bit like cool tone, because he's a bad guy. So I'm going for a bit of a blue or green, I think. Yeah, then maybe that's a little bit too blue, so let's adjust the midtones again. It's a little too orange. I think that's okay. So clicking this I button will turn off all of the color grading edits, just so you can see the difference. So I made it a lot more cool toned because he's a cool guy. I'm picturing, well, I'm specifically picturing him right now in that building with all like the fish around, you know, the scene. Let's open it up. Oh, I forgot to mention, sometimes I'll adjust the color mixer, so that one I can edit. For example, the colors in my skin are a little bit too washed out. I can adjust the saturation for just my skin tone, which is usually like orange, or make it brighter if it's a little bit darker currently on my face. So that's always a very helpful tool as well. And you can find that here. It won't look as good now that I've already opened it up, but under color mixer, I would usually go to the orange tool and brighten it up so you can see how it's like adjusting the shadows on my face already. But I'm not going to do that for this because I don't think I need it, but that is an option if you would like. So now we're going to go into, actually we're going to crop it first because Instagram cropping is only 4:5, so I'm going to crop it straight to that so that I know exactly how it's going to show up on my page. So let's adjust that to 4:5, and it's cutting out a lot of the detail. I want to be able to have the whole head, but my hand will be cut off if I do that. So one cool thing that Photoshop has added is an AI feature where it automatically fills in the background for you, and I'm going to use that. It's called Generative Expand. So with the crop tool, go to Generative Expand in the fill, and then I'm going to open it maybe there so I can see the rest of my hand. It would be nice to get more of my head too. Luckily also, this photo is quite dark. Obviously it's all black in the background, that this should expand pretty well. There are situations where it'll look crazy. So just keep in mind your background when you're doing this. But yeah, so as you can see, there's a little bit of light here too that I'll like to edit out. But let's just try it and see what happens. If I don't like it, then I will revert it. Oh, okay, okay. See how it added this part of my sleeve? That actually looks good. This side is a little bit crazy, so I might actually work on that. I think it is a bit skewed more to this, to the side. So I will crop it in slightly, maybe like there. Okay, yeah, let's go with that. Okay, good. It didn't expand anything. So I will actually get rid of this side section. Oh, this is annoying. Maybe, okay, I might just do something lazy here and add, because I have a black background, I will just add some black in. Let's see how this looks. So I'll start a new layer, and then just with my brush tool, with the lowest hardness, and let's go like 11 flow. And what flow does is that it changes it doesn't fully adjust, it doesn't, like the opacity stays the same, so it'll be the same amount of thickness coming up, but you can build up, so you can color back and forth like you would in real life, like a pen. So that's what flow does. And as you can see here, I'm just going back and forth and it's slowly building up, and it does look pretty good, and the light's gone. And I'm going to add this little bit here as well. Ooh, that's too much. I'm going to add a little bit here too, just so that it looks more in sync. Yeah, so now it just kind of looks like I'm fading from the darkness, which is fine. My sleeve's a little bit cut off, but it looks better. I think there's still a little bit too much on this side though. So I'm going to crop in slightly. Is that right? A little more. How does that look? That's a bit better. Okay, let's just go with that. So that is the background, the small touch-ups done, and then you see that only took like 5 minutes. But now we're going to do the skin retouching. But the flow I'll bring down to maybe like 3. And I'm going to zoom in real close so you can see all of the pores. Get the brush tool out, and then, so for here, what I'm actually going to do is hold down Alt if you have a Windows. If you have a Mac, maybe Options? I don't know Mac. Bring up the eyedropper tool so you can select a color, and I'll just select like a color under my eye, like not eye bags. So for example here, there's a bit of like a weird shadow, so I'll just straighten it out by going back and forth. Same flow, actually sorry, I turned down the flow to 3 so I can kind of build it up slowly. You see how that's, I'll show you the before. This is the before, and then after you can see it's a little bit more smooth, not too airbrushed, but just a little bit so that there's like consistency, and you don't see my pores as strongly or my blackheads. I'll do the same on this side, and I'm pretty light with it, just make sure you don't go crazy. And then for these darker spots, if there's, for example, I contoured here to make my nose bridge look a bit higher because Crollo has like a higher nose. I'll select this darker spot, make this much smaller, and then you can see there's a bit of a gap here of the color, so I'll just fill that in. This is smooth it out and do it again, side. And this is a good time to fix your contour if you messed up like me or don't know how to do it well. But first I'll finish getting rid of, so there's some shine here on my chin. And then I'm also just going to smooth my lips over because people always say my lips are really dry, but they're not dry, they just look dry. So I'm just going to do that. Actually, well, my lips are kind of dry, but they're not as bad as you think. They're moisturized, they're just cracks in them. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Okay, so this is the retouched. Here's before, here's after. You see it's quite minimal, but it does make a difference. I am actually just going to do a little bit more right there. It's good to turn on and off that layer to make sure you're not doing too much as well. If that's not what you want, at least. You don't want it to be too heavy. So turning off the layer, turning back on, just to make sure you're not losing too much details. I think this is good. And next we will, so that's it for the smoothing, to make it your skin all consistent. However, one thing that makes the biggest difference is the dodge and burn. So dodge and burn is highlight and contouring with Photoshop. I have a dodge and burn layer action where I just press play and then my layer shows up. But for the purposes of this video, I'll show you how to do it. So once again, hold down Alt and then press this plus button on the bottom right to add a new layer. So before you finish adding a new layer, you will select the mode and change it to soft light. Once you do that, check off this fill with soft light neutral color 50% gray. Make sure that's selected and then press OK. So this is your dodge and burn layer. If you would like to make it an action, you can, if you're going to use it all the time like I do. So let's zoom back in to the face. And then here is when we're going to be able to brighten the eyes and adjust any of the contour and highlighting. And this makes a huge difference. So first of all, let's go to use your brush tool again and then change the colors to black and white. So the black is going to be your burn and the white is going to be your dodge. And what that just means is, like, burn is darkening, white is lightening. That's it. Start off with the burn tool. There's a few places where I usually will burn a little bit more. So under my eyes to do the agiosal, the fatty piece of section under your eye, that one, a lot of Asian people will make that a little bit more defined so that your eyes look bigger. So Crollo, he has small eyes though, so I don't want to make it too big, but I still think it looks good, especially on male makeup. I think it makes a big difference versus not having it at all. Some people won't do it and it looks really good, but for me, it looks weird when I don't because I naturally already have it a little bit. So if I don't use it, I don't know, it looks like something's missing. Put a little bit of darkening under there, and you can see that's already making a difference. It's popping more. And I'll also do it on my lash line, just where I had put some, what is this called? Eyeliner? Yeah, eyeliner. I actually use eyeshadow, but yeah, the eyeliner. And then I will switch, just press X to switch it on your keyboard, or you can press this arrow here. And then I'm gonna add some whites in my eyes so that my eyes are a little bit brighter. I will do this on the whites of my eyes and also on this glare so that your eyes look like they twinkle. I have like a little piece of hair here. This isn't in my eye. It's kind of making me uncomfortable seeing it, thinking that it's in my eye. I'll also do a little bit, just like a tiny bit on the agiosal as well, just to brighten it and the inner corners. And I think that's it for the eyes. So I'll show you the before. That's what it looked like before, and that's after. And you see the difference is huge. And I didn't do that much, but it made a big difference. And that's why that's something you need to be careful with editing. Is it's so easy to go overboard. So that's why I say put your flow down to 3. Keep turning on and off your layers to see how much you're actually editing, because it's very easy to suddenly have like the most crazy highlights and then not even realize how much you've edited until after. The places where I like to highlight are my eyes, the bridge of my nose, and like the top of my mouth here, and my cheeks as well. So add some dodge here and here as well. Maybe I'll make this a little bit stronger, like 4. Yeah, just to show. That might even be too much actually. So yeah, we'll see. And then I'll also add some here. And on my lips too. I'll actually, no, I think it's fine. And then just on my cheeks to brighten this area. Then I will switch to dodge. And I'm just gonna continue to contour the sections I already contoured, just because when you're taking photos, it does wash you out a little bit. So that's why when you're contouring for cosplay, you kind of do it more extreme so that it shows up better on camera. So I'm just gonna bring back those colors a little bit. So I'll just do it here by the nose and eyes. Just highlight this, and then also on my cheeks. And then jawline too. Just doing it a little bit there, and then to make it more defined is when you put the dodge as well after. And I think there's a little bit, it's a little bit too much of a line here, like I want it to be blended more. Like this color and then just kind of extend it. So there we go. So it's a little bit more of a gradient towards like the lighter section that is not contoured. And yeah, that already looks a lot better. I also want to add, because Crollo, I don't know why I do this, but like for evil people, I'll add some darkness around the lips. So here is where I added like the extending lip section, but it looks kind of weird if you don't, because it's too washed out. It's like brightened a lot. I'm just gonna make this darker, and then the inside of my mouth here. I just feel like he'd have dirty inner lips. I don't know. I'll show you the before. That's before, and then this is after. And you see it's made a big difference, but also technically nothing much has changed, but it is like, it does make a difference. Also do it on the clothes too, like it does help pop the clothes. Makes it more, stands out more, so it looks like it's higher quality. Increases the contrast, I guess. So I will usually start off with the highlighter this time and highlight sections where it's naturally highlighted. So for example, my shoulders here, the buttons, and then this lapel. You can see it's a little bit brighter. I'm kind of just making it up, like where I'm going, honestly. This is just random. And then, oh, I also want to do it on the bandana. A lot of people will do a hair halo around their head too, because it just looks nice. So I do it a little bit, but not too crazy, because that's not how it's lit in the actual photo. And then now I'm going to switch to the black color, and then I'm going to make the other sections a bit darker. So here, I added brightness here, so I'm going to add darkness here. And then here, where the shadows are naturally. So that's the basic retouching part. I'll duplicate this layer just so that I have all this stuff in the background in case I need to go back to edit it. Then I'll merge this filter, and I've saved all my filters on Camera Raw, so I can access it easily. I put I haven't used my in a while, but some of these are ones that I purchased, and some of them are ones that I got for free from like other YouTubers and stuff, and some of them I made myself. Just go through these, hover over them to see if there's any of these colors that stand out to you. That one's kind of cool. It's a bit dark. Some of these are a bit extreme, so you'll have to adjust them depending on your photo. These ones are the ones that I have adjusted. Oh, I kind of like this one. This is one of the ones that I have made as well, but I do like that. Actually, maybe I might, let's just look at the other ones though. This works for Crollo though, like the very desaturated, and it's very extreme, but I'll turn it down. Oh, that's nice too. Sometimes I'll also do multiple filters and not on full strength, merge them together. So for example, if I wanted to use, yeah, okay, I'll show you. So let's use this one, but I'll also use that other one as well. So I'll create that layer. Cool, looks nice. And then I'll turn it all the way down. I would say always start at 0 and then slowly bring it up, just so that you can see how much is actually changing. So you don't go like for like the full, because like I think when you look at this as you're editing, then you're like, yeah, it looks good. But then you look back at it later and be like, ooh, that's actually really strong. So start low and then slowly bring it up. I think probably there is good for me, about 50. And then I will do that again, because I also want the other filter, and see what it looks like. Merging layers. Then I'll go back and I'll select the heritage filter. I think it was this one, right? Yeah, that's the one I liked. You see it's a lot more subtle. It's kind of popping the colors. The filter, and I'll take it off. That's it with, okay, this is the original. This is the filter that I had added on second, and this is the third filter that I put on. And it's not too strong because it's underneath that other one. So this is what it would look like generally, but under this under the first filter, it's hard to explain. But if you understand layers, under the first filter that is at 50%, this is only showing 50% of this new color. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to drag it to the top just so that we can see the difference. And I'm going to do the same thing, turn it to 0, and then slowly bring it up. So this is just kind of like brightening my face mainly. And I think I like it there actually, so put both of them at 50. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. And the best way to test is, as I said, turn off all of your edits. So this original layer that I'm keeping on, I have not made any edits to. So this is the original layer with no photoshopping at all. And then I turn everything back on to see the difference. And that's the before and after. And I think it looks good. I don't think it looks too much edited. I think this looks like a good amount. So I hope that was all useful to you, any of it, some of it perhaps. A lot of these kind of ideas, even if you don't have Photoshop, you can probably take into other apps. So for example, like the highlight and dodging I think is pretty common in all editing applications, so I think you'll be able to find an equivalent, maybe something for free, because Photoshop and Adobe is very expensive. But yeah, hopefully that helps, and let me know if you have any other questions and I'll try my best to answer. Thanks for watching!